they are, what they can do, and attempts at their control. Starting with the beginning of the nuclear weapons development, you'll get a thorough look at their evolution, the evolution efforts to control these weapons. This is course number 6001. Ellen Hoffman.
Good morning. How do you follow something like that?
Try cold medicine. You don't care about anything.
One off-the-record comment here. In looking at the talks that preceded mine the latter part of the morning, excuse me, I'm struck by the connection among all of them. You may think that nuclear weapons is a bit far out for a course, but it really comes down to psychology, very honestly. It comes down to America in the 1930s, when all of this started. I'm as old as the nuclear age, so it's a fairly current, recent event. And certainly AI nightmares can certainly include nuclear scenarios. So, a lot of things are very connected. Now, the course that I'm going to talk about, which I also taught last year for the first time, is offered for two primary reasons on my part. One, I believe that the world changed on July 16th, 1945, with the first test explosion of a nuclear weapon. I was only 8 years old at the time, but I remember the event being announced, certainly when the bombs were dropped on Japan. And I've never gotten over that. The genie that is nuclear weapons was let out of the bottle, and it will never go back in. And we can talk a lot about nuclear weapons, and the literature is pretty extensive. But the world did change. And that's the world that we live in, and that our children and all of our subsequent generations will live in. The other reason that I offer this course is I don't think there's enough discussion, informed discussion, about nuclear weapons today. If you were to ask most people, what are the challenges facing the globe today? Most people's first choice would be global climate change. And I fully agree that global climate change is an absolutely critical global challenge. I spent my career working on issues related to that. But I also feel very strongly that there is another global challenge facing the world that needs more discussion, and that's the existence and proliferation of nuclear weapons. And the purpose of this course is to offer an oversight and maybe even an introduction to where these weapons came from. How did we decide to drop them on two Japanese cities, which ended World War II? What are the effects of these unique weapons? They are weapons like a lot of other weapons, but boy, they're in a class all by themselves, and people have got to understand how dramatically different they are than other weapons, how they have evolved since World War II, the numbers, the size, and how have we tried to control this global challenge. Now, we all hear things that mention the words nuclear weapons, most often recently in connection to Iran, North Korea, But what do those words really mean? Do we really have a clear understanding of what a nuclear weapon is and can do, and how hard it is to control their proliferation? And I think it eventually comes down to a question of human relations, because the physics I can explain to you in 10 minutes. There is no focus in this course on hard physics. I'm not doing that. But the issues associated with nuclear weapons are human problems that we have to be aware of and address. And so in the course, which will take 6 sessions, I'll talk about the history of these weapons, which really dates from the 1930s, the Manhattan Project, which was the U.S. effort, along with some allies like the UK, to develop a weapon for use in World War II. What can these weapons do when they are utilized? I will share with the class a videotape that I made of one of the scientists who became a very close friend of mine, who was at Los Alamos at the weapons laboratory during World War II, and how he and his colleagues thought about the decision to drop the bomb, which is a generational debate going on forever and probably will go on forever. Were we justified in dropping the bomb on the first city? And then the second question, were we justified in dropping the second bomb 3 days later? I'll talk about the extensive efforts to control these weapons since World War II, and we're now in a critical stage, as some of you may know, because a treaty with Russia is expiring, and the question is, are we going to renew it? And then finally, one of the things that I look forward to a lot in this course is a chance for discussion. One of the classes will be devoted to an open discussion of where we are today in the whole nuclear weapons issue. And for me, one of the great advantages of teaching this course is the feedback I get from the students, because you're all experienced people, had your own careers, and I look forward to the feedback both from me to you and from you to me. So that's the course. I think it's an interesting course, and it comes with a freebie. If you look on the description in the course catalog, my recommended reading is a chapter I had a book published in February, which was selected for open access, which means that you can download it for free, which is always a nice thing because books are so damn expensive today. And one chapter is on nuclear power, which touches on the weapons issues because they're intimately connected. And you can download either that chapter or you can download the whole book. And that's true for anybody who takes the course, who doesn't take the course. The link is in the catalog. So I look forward to an opportunity to share my own perspectives on a lot of these issues, give you a basic understanding of what these weapons are all about, why we have them, and what we're likely to see in the future. Thank you.
We are delighted that Charles Hartel will be presenting Indian Wars 1754 to 1794, Battle for the Old Northwest this semester. I remember coming out of a class a while back